Hi guys, it is Aoife from Words of Clover and I'm here to do what I'm hoping is going to be kind of like a weekly relaxed reading vlog, just kind of spend some time with me vlog. So as I said in my previous video, I am off work at the moment for my maternity leave, so I'm just kind of waiting for baby to arrive. Still another couple of weeks hopefully before she comes. I'm only 36 weeks, so yeah, probably from like next week onwards we'll be on more of like baby watch, but at the moment it's just relaxing and getting ready and enjoying the free time before our time gets very, very busy. So I'm trying to kind of, yeah, just get all the bits done, kind of do some of the things I enjoy, and obviously trying to get a lot of reading done as well. So I wanted to talk about some of the books that I am reading at the moment and probably reading throughout this week, and we'll see how quickly I get through them. But yeah, the first book I want to talk about is the physical book I'm reading, which is The Safekeep by Yael van der Wouden, and this actually just recently won the Women's Prize for Fiction, and it's why I got it. I always like to treat myself every year to like 2 or 3 books from the long list of Women's Prize for Fiction, because it's like the one, I find it's the one kind of book prize that, number one, I'm really interested in, and number two, I generally like enjoy the books the most from the long list or the short list. So yeah, this was one of my picks from the long list this year because I had heard really good things about it. So yeah, I am currently about 130 pages in, so yeah, about like halfway through, almost halfway through at the moment, and so far I am enjoying it. It's a slower read. It's set in the 60s and we are following a character called Isabel who lives in her mother's house. Her mother has been dead for a good few years and she has 2 brothers, and wouldn't say like a super close relationship with them, but Isabel herself is she seems like a very particular type of character. She's quite cold, she's not the nicest person in the world. She has her own kind of like ways, which kind of, some of it I think comes from living on her own for so long, but yeah, she wouldn't be the most like kindest, warm-hearted character I've ever read about. And in this one, her brother introduces a new girlfriend to Isabel. Her name is Eva, and he then ends up like basically saying, oh, Eva's going to stay with you for a while in the house. And because Isabel like doesn't actually necessarily like own her mother's house, it's actually owned like by her brother, and she's just living there, she can't really say no. And we see kind of just this very like stifling kind of relationship between her and Eva, and there's like a tension between them, and it's kind of, yeah, there's just, we're kind of like watching what they do with each other and how they kind of circle around each other, and yeah, like kind of waiting for it all to implode in a way. So that is what I'm at, like kind of at the point now, to see what happens with it. I am enjoying it. I'm finding it a little bit slower, and I do find Isabel kind of a harder character to read about because as I said, she kind of like digs her own like hole a lot of the time in the way she treats people. Like she just doesn't treat people very well, and like people who were like trying to be nice to her, she just doesn't, you know, she doesn't reciprocate it very well, and there's like just something blocking her all the time from it. And one of the things, like I can see why Isabel would be more attracted to Eva, or like more like inclined to gravitate towards Eva, even if there's parts of Eva that annoy her. But then I also can't completely understand the opposite, how like Eva would be kind of compelled towards Isabel, because I'm like, Isabel is just like, she's just not the nicest character, so like she does feel like someone that you would be like running away from rather than running toward. But yeah, we will see how it all ends up, but there's like a really high tension in the book, and but I do think it's written really well, and the characters are very strong in the book as well. So I will read more of that today. So I think I'm on chapter 10, so I'll probably get at least 2 chapters done today. I'll see how slow or quick or whatever I decide to read today. Then the audiobook I'm reading at the moment is Ordinary Saints by Niamh and Mhaoileoin. This is an Irish book, and fun fact is that the author of this book is actually my old year head in school's daughter, and she went to the same school as me and stuff. So when I saw that she had written a book, I was like, oh, like I must read that. But then it's actually gotten quite buzzy, and it seems like it's been well received, which is really exciting. So yeah, I'm listening to this on audiobook at the moment, and I'm really, really enjoying it. We're following a character called Jacinta, though she prefers to go by Jay, and we meet her as an adult. She's living in London, and she is gay, and she's just like living, surviving, dating in London, and then we kind of know from the start of the book that Jay's brother passed away when she was, I think, when she was in her teens, and he was actually in training to be a priest at the time of his death. And now it's been like, I don't know how many years exactly later from his death, probably like over 10 years maybe. We see that he's basically like going to be like canonized to be a saint, and we see how Jay is like dealing with that, and she's kind of thinking about her childhood, her relationship with her brother, her relationship with her parents, her relationship with the church, and how deep the church was, like the role of the church was in her family growing up, because it was quite a religious family, and then also herself obviously as like a lesbian, how she feels now about it all. And it's just a really interesting kind of exploration of the church's role in a life, or like, you know, and like it's not necessarily like a bad representation either. And you know, you see like her brother was obviously like very deeply entrenched in the church, and he wanted to be a priest, and it's not necessarily that there's like anything bad, like religion brought anything bad, any badness into her family, but she is like just like kind of thinking about it and exploring it in a way that I really enjoy so far in the book, though I'm not too far into it. I still have about like 7 hours. I think I've only read like 2 hours or so of it. So yeah, I don't know if I'll get more of that read today, because I normally do it on a dog walk, and we've already done our dog walk today, and we brought Rossi to the park, so it was a couple dog walk today rather than a solo dog walk. So I didn't listen to my audiobook today, but maybe if I'm doing things later, I might, or like making dinner or something, I might stick it on and read it, because I am actually really enjoying it. And then I've ended up reading also, I'm actually reading 4 books at the moment, which is quite a lot for me, but I had a hospital appointment on Friday, and today is Sunday, and I forgot to bring my book with me, so I was like, uh-oh, like I'm waiting for my appointment and I have nothing to read. So I did have my next book lined up, or I knew what the next book I would be reading on my Kindle was, and that's The Viscount Made Me Do It by Diana Quincy. So I just started reading that, and then I kind of continued reading it on Friday, and I got about halfway through. So yeah, I'm just going to continue to read that as we go along as well, kind of a few chapters a day, or like maybe even more, because it's quite an easy read. So this is a Regency romance, if you can't tell by the cover, and this is the second book in, I think it's called Clandestine Affairs like series or trilogy. I read the first one like a few years ago, and in this one we are following 2 characters. We're following a character called Hannah and a character called Griff, and Griff is the Viscount, and we know from the first book, he was like a side character in the first book, and we know that when he was a teenager, his parents were brutally murdered while he was in the house, and because of circumstances around that murder, a lot of people think that he was involved or like did it in some way, and he was kind of like shunned by society, and he's like been really affected by the trauma of his parents' death, and also like this really heavy guilt that he feels over it. So now he's, presuming he's like in his early 30s at this point, and he's kind of come back into town, and we see him meet Hannah, or like see Hannah, and she is more of a more middle class woman. She wouldn't be like in the same society as he is, because she is actually a bone setter, and she is also from like an Arabic family as well, so she would be a woman of color, and so like there's many differences between the two of them, and she is a bone setter, and which is kind of like, you know, like I guess like a medical profession. Like she sets bones, and can help people with ailments around their body and pain and stuff like that. But Griff actually has this like chronic pain symptoms from like when he was in the army, and he is dealing with chronic pain like almost every single day like of his life, for the last few years. And we see him see Hannah, but he actually first of all notices her because she's wearing this necklace, and the last time he saw that necklace was on the body of his mother, or was on his mother the night that she was murdered. And he's like, well, how would this like young woman come across this necklace? And he decides to go and see her, but obviously under the disguise of he's looking for treatment. But then he kind of gets closer to her during the treatment. He kind of learns that she is a very honest, like lovely person, and she has like, you know, that she wouldn't have anything to do with the murder of his mother. So the two of them have to kind of work together to try and figure out like how the necklace ended up in like her family's possession, and obviously the two of them are getting closer. But there's people in Griff's life as well that can make Hannah's life very difficult, because as a bone setter she's kind of looked down upon by medical professionals and people who want to ruin her because she's a woman and she is smart and knows what she's doing, and the doctors don't like it. So we're seeing all of that, as well as like this tension, like romantic tension building up between them. So I'm really enjoying that as well. I really like the writing. I also really like that Diana Quincy, she describes herself as an Arab American. So all of her, so far I've only read 2 of her books, but her female characters are generally always women of colour, or like Arabic women of Arabic descent. So I really like that, because obviously with Regency romance it tends to be very white. So yeah, just seeing that representation is very nice, and it's kind of like own voices to a degree as well. So yeah. And then the 4th book is just like a birth book, which is Hypnobirthing by Siobhan Miller, and that's just something I'm just like reading a chapter, so every day, or like when I have the time. So I read a chapter of that this morning, and yeah, it's just kind of preparing my brain for what is going to be coming in the next few weeks. But this is one that I'm actually really enjoying, and I would very highly recommend for anyone who is pregnant or looking into hypnobirthing. I find it very positive and very easy to read, and yeah, I feel like it's really like giving me good toolkit for going into a very big moment in my life. So yeah, that is everything that I'm reading. This was a very long intro talking about what I'm reading. It's already like 12 minutes long. So yeah, that's everything I'll be reading throughout today, even though it's already like 3 o'clock. Some of the things that I'm going to do today, as I said, we've already done our dog walk today. I've had like a picky bits lunch today, and we had family over yesterday, so we had loads of like olives and hummus and carrots and stuff, and like all those picky kind of bits left over. So we had a nice kind of picky bits lunch. We have a lot of dessert left over as well, so I'll probably be eating that later as well. And then one of the big things I need to do today is pack my hospital bag, because I kind of just need to have it ready to go just for whatever reason, and I've kind of been putting it off, but I'm going to need to at least half pack it today. So that is the big thing to do today. So that's what I'm going to do next. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I need to water these plants you can see behind me, because I'm pretty sure like they're like half dead, because my plants like in the last like 2 years have been severely neglected. So yeah, I'm going to water those, and then I am going to go upstairs and make a start on this hospital bag, and yeah, we can get on with the day then. This is like all my bits and pieces that I'm going to need after birth, and then yeah, so I'm gonna have a labour bag and a hospital bag, and the hospital does give like lists for like what to bring, because I actually like have no idea how much stuff I should be bringing. And things as well is like you don't really know how big the baby's going to be as well, so I just hope that she fits into the things that I'll pack as well. So we will see. If anyone has gone through this, what I would actually love to know is if there's any things that like you wish you had in your hospital bag, or that you would recommend putting in your hospital bag. I would love to know, because yeah, tips like that I think are very, very helpful. So yeah, I just wanted to show like some of the really like the cutie bits, because that's what we're all here for, isn't it? So I think maybe her first outfit will be Paddington Bear, which is very cute. It says like please look after the spare, thank you, and I just think that'd be like such a cute like first little outfit. So yeah, that's going to be her first outfit. And then she has her baby grows and her nappies, which are like so tiny, and then a little cardigan. So this, my gran actually hand knit this cardigan a few years ago, and I've been holding on to it. So yeah, this will be her first little cardigan, which is very adorable. cards, and I thought that if I just like do a few batches this week, I'll be able to get them all done. So that is what I'm going to try and do. So I'm going to listen to some of Ordinary Saints by Mhaoileoin while I write a batch of these, and yeah, hopefully have a very nice time. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know why I decided to get ones that like were blank at the back instead of like a generic message to make this job easier for myself, but I didn't. So yeah, but I really like the cards, and I love this picture, and yeah, it's mad to think that it's been 9 months basically since our wedding. And yeah, I'm gonna write these now and send them off to people so they don't think that we've forgotten about them and celebrating the day with us. Hi guys, it is now it's not Tuesday, it's Monday, and I am just out and about and have a couple of errands to do today. One of them is to the food shop, so that's what I'm going to do today. Very exciting life. And then one of the other things I wanted to do was I have a book to pick up in the library, so that is where I am at now. And I'm actually going to pick up Lady of the Lake by Jean Menzies, who's our very own Jean's Bookish Thoughts on YouTube. So that's fun, so I'm really looking forward to reading that. And I thought I would do a little bit of a browse in here as well and see if there's any other books I want to pick up. I haven't actually done like a big library haul. I kind of reserve books from the library a lot, and I use the app like all the time for like audiobooks and ebooks, but I don't always like actually go in and just like get random books from the library anymore the way that I used to. So it might be nice to do that today, maybe pick up like 2 or 3 books to last me over the next few weeks, even though I do have loads of books at home to read. But yeah, it's always nice just to have a little bit of a browse. So I thought that's what I would do today, and I'll be able to show you guys what I get afterwards. Okay, I am just finished the food shop now. I didn't check in after the library as there was someone waiting for my car spot, so I didn't want to be yeah, making her wait. So yeah, I'm just back in the car. It is absolutely roasting. It's 25 degrees in the car, about 20 degrees outside, and I am very hot. So I think the plan of the action is to go home and set up in the garden, have lunch and a drink, and yeah, I do still need to walk Rossi, but I think if I was to walk Rossi right now I would expire. It's too warm for me, and I'm actually literally like just doing that food shop. I'm exhausted now. So yeah, I wanted to show you what I picked up in the library though. So I picked up Lady of the Lake by Jean Menzies, which, as I said, is, I think it's an Arthurian historical retelling about the Lady of the Lake in Camelot. So yeah, excited to read this and to support Jean, who is a great booktuber. And then I got 3 other books, all of which are ones that I've heard about and that I've wanted to read. So one I've heard loads about recently is Holly Bourne's So Thrilled for You, which is kind of just a contemporary like adult fiction. And we're following a few characters who are all in like different stages of their life, and it's about how like one of them is, I think, having a baby or has had babies, one is trying to get pregnant, and then one of them is child free, but like happily child free, but she feels like judged by her friends, and she's kind of feeling that like her achievements aren't celebrated in the same way that maybe like marriage and babies and stuff are. So I think it's just kind of like a commentary on all of that. So I'm looking forward to reading that because I've heard really good things about it. Another one I've heard loads of things about is The Alternatives by Keelan Hughes. And this one I think is about 4 sisters, and something tragically happens to them, to their parents, I think, in their childhood, and I think it might be like years later they're kind of getting together and talking about it, and I've heard it's like very dark but very gripping. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And then the last one that I've heard about is The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride, and this is one that seems to be set in 1972 in Pennsylvania, and it's about a community where Jews and African Americans lived side by side, and I think there might be, I don't know whether there's a murder or something kind of suspect has happened, but like years later basically a body has been found, I think, and we're kind of following what happened there. But I've heard, that's one I've definitely heard good things about as well. So these 4 are all the ones that I've read. All the other ones except Lady of the Lake are actually on like a 10-day loan, so I might have made a mistake with that one because I don't know if I'll get all of these. Like, it used to be before I would like fly through all of these in 10 days, but because I'm kind of like reading my own like Kindle books, NetGalley books, audiobooks, I don't know if I'll get through all of these within 10 days, but I will give it a shot. I'll just try and see. I can like probably put Lady in the Lake off a bit longer because I'll have this one for a good 3 weeks. So I'll see what I'm feeling once I finish up my current reads and see what I'm feeling. So because I feel like So Thrilled for You will definitely be like a shorter read. I feel like I'll fly through that one, and then the other two we'll see. So yeah, those are fun. Nice little library haul. I feel like I haven't done one of those in ages, and it was kind of nice just to go in and browse, because a lot of the time when I go up to the library now to collect something, I'll actually walk up with Rossi and I'll leave her outside for a few minutes while I just run in quickly and like grab the book from the shelf that like is ready for me to collect. So it was nice to actually go in and browse a little bit, even though I didn't spend too long in there, because basically everything on the 10-day loan shelf, there was loads more that I could have gotten, but yeah, it was really nice. So I'm gonna go home, have my lunch, de-sweat, and I will see you guys again in a little bit. Guys, I am just out on a dog walk with Rossi, who is here, and I want to do a quick update as I finished 2 books yesterday, so I wanted to quickly update on them. The first one I finished was The Viscount Made Me Do It by Diana Quincy, which I talked about is the Regency romance I'm reading, and I really enjoyed this. 4 out of 5 stars. It was enjoyable. The chemistry was there between the characters. I liked the 2 different side plots, one of them which was the female characters like bone setting business, which I think is just like a really interesting historical profession, I guess, and how bone setters were treated and stuff like that. And then also, as I said before, she's of Arab descent, and you see her culture and like her family and just different things like that are different for her in comparison to maybe other women, or things that like it means that not just kind of social status would come between her and the main love interest. It's like a cultural thing as well. So I really enjoy just kind of seeing how all that played out. And then obviously on the other side, we're seeing the main male character, Griff. He's like looking into the murder of his parents like 14 years ago, which society believes he had some part. Kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't say it was surprising in any way of what happened. It was very, very obvious. But I still enjoyed it. The chemistry's there. There are some like nice sexy times there as well. And yeah, I just enjoyed it. It was a fun time. So it was a nice 4 out of 5 stars. And I have the 3rd book in this series, the 3rd and final book in this like series, which follows the main character in the very first book. It follows actually her brother, and then he's like the cousin of the character Hannah, who I've just read about. So yeah, that should hopefully be a good one as well, and hopefully I'll be able to read that soon enough, instead of in a few years like I have with all the other ones. And then I also finished the Safekeep yesterday. I just sat out in the sun and read a majority of that in the sun yesterday, which was lovely. And yeah, this one was tense and like kind of sexy at times. I thought the character kind of study and progression in it was really, really good. And yeah, just the kind of the opening of the characters. Like this character goes from really hard-hearted and hard-faced, and you kind of see this softening and this opening up of her in a way that she's never allowed anyone to see before, and it was kind of beautiful in a way as well. And I also really enjoyed the fact it's kind of looking at, it's set in 1961 in the Netherlands, and we're kind of looking at, so it's like, you know, 20 years after the war, and seeing kind of still the after effects of some things to do with the war, and to do with how people were treated in the Netherlands, and yeah, still just the after effects of that, and how people are living with that, and also how the war affected all the characters, Eva and Isabel, who are our main characters, how the war affected them separately as well. And I enjoyed kind of exploring that. It's like something I haven't really seen explored that much before. And obviously it also did win the Women's Prize for Fiction, so it was a good one for me to pick up out of the 3 that I did buy from the long list. So yeah, I think I obviously haven't read any of the others, but it is a very like well crafted novel, and it's actually a debut novel as well, which was interesting because it was really good. In terms of just like the craftsmanship of it, as I said, the character study in it, that like reveal of the characters, and yeah, I don't know, I did see some people think like that the twist or like the reveal in the Safekeep was like, you know, really shocking. Again, I thought it was kind of very obvious where it was going from the start, but it didn't take away from my experience at all. I was just interested to see how we got there. So yeah, I enjoyed both of them. And then the next book that I'm reading at the moment is The Baby Group by Jade Wright. So I started that last night. I read like 4 chapters of that. So Jade Wright is actually a booktuber as well. She is Boho Bookworm on BookTube, and I know her pretty well, and yeah, it's just really exciting to see her book finally be published, because I know this is something she's worked on really hard for a number of years, and yeah, just super happy for her. So I obviously got her book on NetGalley. I want to support her, so I read the first 4 or 5 chapters of that last night. We were following a character called Darcy who is pregnant, and she joins these antenatal classes, and we see her kind of get sucked in with the friendship with these women, but also there's kind of something sinister like in the background there, and we know from the very start, from the prologue, that something terrible does happen to Darcy, and we're kind of just seeing, we go back then a few months, and we're kind of seeing the build up to that. So I think this is just going to be really gripping, quite fast paced, and yeah, the first few chapters I've read so far I've enjoyed, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. So yeah, that'll be exciting to read. So I better keep going, because Rossi is getting impatient waiting for me to finish up, and to take a breather, which is why I'm sitting down. So yeah, I'll catch up with you guys later. Hi guys, so it is a little bit later on. I am just waiting for Keen, as I have to bring him to a dentist appointment. So I'm just waiting in the car, and I'm reading while I'm waiting in the car, naturally. So I am actually almost 50% through The Baby Group by Jade Wright, that I was mentioned briefly earlier when I was out walking Rossi, and yeah, I'm really hooked to it. It's like nicely fast paced, it's gripping, there's enough kind of, you know, intrigue and mystery about the characters that really make you just kind of want to keep reading, and also the dynamic of the group, of like all the women in the Baby Group. There's a couple of women who are just like really off in different ways, and you kind of just really want to know like what their deal is, if you can trust them. And because of, you know, something shocking at the very start of the book, it's definitely one that you're kind of like, you're suspicious of everyone really. There's also just like different types of relationships in the book, in terms of you know, like romantic relationships, and how people kind of can fight or get closer in the lead up to obviously having a child, and how that puts pressure on relationships in different ways. And then our main character Darcy, we see like she's quite an insecure character, which can be kind of hard to read sometimes, because you do see her kind of almost judging some of the other women sometimes, but she's kind of like self-aware of that as well. It's just that she can't help herself. So you kind of do, and obviously like she's pregnant, and there's all sorts of hormones going through her as well, so you're kind of you can kind of, you know, not pity her, but understand some of it. Hi guys, I got interrupted the other day when I was talking about The Baby Group, so I wanted to jump in quickly and continue what I was saying about it, but also to say that I also finished it, so I can give a proper review of it now. So yeah, as I think I was previously saying, was that the main character Darcy, she can be quite insecure at times in the book, but there's also ways you see like how that is quite like an understandable like feeling that she's having. I really enjoyed it. It was just kind of twisty and turny and really gripping, and I really felt like the very end of it as well. I genuinely was like, I had to stop reading this until like I finished the book, because I just needed to know what happened. And I really love that, especially with like thrillery kind of books, to be like that hooked in that you have to, like, you can't put them down. So I really felt like that with this book. So I did really enjoy it. I gave it a really strong 4 out of 5 stars. So I definitely recommend for anyone who needs a good thriller. There is obviously some kind of like medical pregnancy birth content in it because of the nature of the book. We are following a pregnant woman who is like in a birthing group, so that is like kind of a part of it. So if you don't like that, then obviously probably not the book for you, but if you're okay with those kind of things, then definitely give it a shot. One of the things I did find, I just thought the pacing at the very end slowed down a little bit for me, so I did kind of not lag or anything, but it had been really fast paced, and then it kind of just slowed down, so that was a little bit of a pity. And then there was some kind of almost like mind twisty kind of, not quite gaslighting, but like psychological things that was obviously being done to Darcy that I actually kind of would have liked. We kind of see that happening from like near the middle to the end of the book, and I actually would have liked that to have been from the very start of the book. I think it would have helped build up like so much more intensity and kind of questions about different characters and stuff. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one, so I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And then the last book I wanted to update with this vlog, and then probably wrap up this vlog, because it's already like over half an hour long, I think, and yeah, it's gone pretty well. So I've had a really good reading week, and it's amazing how much you can read when you're not working, and you don't have that much energy to do a lot of other things. So it's been really nice just being able to kind of concentrate on reading and kind of getting my proper reading mojo back. But I did finish Ordinary Saints by Niamh and Mhaoileoin, which was the audiobook I was listening to, and this one I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I just thought for a debut novel it was crafted so well, and I just really loved the exploration of like church and family and grief, and there are some like kind of passages about grief and how grief like even years later can kind of like hit you, and like you can still kind of like get your breath like taken away from it, or taken away by it, and kind of stop you in your tracks type of grief even those years and years later. I thought some of the descriptions around that was really beautiful. I just really liked the exploration of religion in it, as I said, and both from the main character Jade, her relationship with the church as a queer woman, and also like obviously growing up in quite a religious family where her brother was training to become a priest, and then her feelings about what type of man her brother would have become if he had become a priest, and things like, you know, the same-sex marriage referendum in Ireland, the abortion referendum, things like that. Like what side would he have chosen? She's kind of thinking things out around like about that, and even like having discussions with her family, those really difficult discussions as well, and kind of seeing how people fall on that. And I just thought, and then like just even her relationship with her parents, like, is quite difficult at times but sweet at other times, and you can kind of see like they're people who they love each other, but they have a very difficult time kind of connecting in different ways, or like expressing that love as well. And there's like a bit near the very end of the book with her mum, which was just lovely. I really liked those that chapter, to kind of wrap up that relationship and like how it was like progressing, and I thought it was a really nice way of ending the book. So yeah, that is everything. I think the next book I'm actually halfway through and I'm really enjoying it's an ARC copy, but it's The Devil's Advocate by Steve Kavanagh. So I'll probably obviously be talking about this in my June wrap up, but I'm really enjoying this. I'm like properly hooked into it, so I will talk about that in my next video. But I just wanted to wrap up this vlog. It's obviously a beautiful sunny day here, as you can see, so I'm going to continue to read for a little while out in the garden. And thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. If you'd like me to try and do another one next week, I can try. We're just kind of waiting, though the doctor did say today that she thinks it will be at least another week for the baby. She's not quite engaged yet, so it doesn't look like it's going to be within this week anyway, so I have another week to go at least. So thank you guys so much for watching. Leave any comments down below about what you've been reading, if you've read any of the books that I've talked about, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.